It won't take me long to answer this question because I am against that. My feeling is that communities, school systems can dictate their own calendars. We don't need a petition signed to go to the state legislature, and then legislature dictate when we are going to start school, when we're going to finish school. We have to have 180 days of school no matter what. And once again, I just think it's really a local and a community decision to make as to when school's going to start. And is 4 days starting early going to affect student achievement? That's the bottom line. That's all that I have to say.
I agree with Linda. I don't like mandating the public school systems, how they set their calendar. I think if I were the controller in charge of collecting tax receipts, I would be in favor of anything that maximized tax receipts from resort areas. So I am sympathetic, and public schools, we live on tax receipts, so that part makes sense. So I don't find myself massively against that. I don't like the idea of another mandate. There are too many state-imposed mandates on us as it is. But I actually, to be frank, I don't find this that interesting a question. It's a particular idea. I'll tell you something that bothers me a lot more than that, and that is what the State Board of Education has done in terms of school discipline in the last couple of years. The State Board, which is very well-meaning and full of very nice people, has decided that school suspension rates have to sort of normalize so that you identify all your students by subgroups, and you better make sure that your discipline numbers end up the same. And schools are all about equity. Schools are all about fairness. The families that are in schools and the people who devote their lives to the schools care about nothing more than helping every student achieve the best. But you can't mandate outcomes like that. You can't say we're going to guarantee that exactly the same number of every specified subgroup, including kids with IEPs, right? All other groups are going to end up with the same suspension rates, discipline rates. I do think you need to look very carefully at what schools are doing in terms of suspensions. And there are disturbing studies that show that sometimes kids get differential treatment, and that's not good. So I totally get what the state board was doing. But to simply have as a mandate, all your numbers have to come out even or you're in trouble, I just don't think that doesn't lead to good governance of schools, and I don't think it leads to good decision making, and I don't think it supports strong principal leadership in the building or strong teacher leadership in the classroom.
Well, I agree with them that I don't think it should be a state mandate, but I think it would be good for Kent County to start after Labor Day. I'm probably the only candidate who's worked for a marina. And let me tell you, once school starts, marinas just kind of might as well close because, people who are not thinking about their boats, they're thinking about soccer and football and getting school clothes. And we have a lot of marinas here and a lot of tourists, and I just think it would make sense to start after Labor Day for our county. I wouldn't necessarily want to see it, mandated. I'm also concerned about how early in the morning we seem to start. It's gotten earlier and earlier. I see kids in the dark getting on buses. Parents still get home at 5 o'clock. Let's move up the school day. Teenagers like to sleep late. Let's start the school day a little later, end the school year a little later.
I don't know. I don't think it's a all yes or an all no answer. I know that at the local level, nobody wants the state telling them what to do. Currently, Worcester County, which is where Ocean City is the only county that does start after Labor Day. All the other 22 counties and Baltimore City start before. We started on the 25th. I do understand that the testing calendar is part of the school calendar. For example, all this week, it's hard to believe we're 6 weeks into school and Kent County High School has been testing all week. So if you decide to change the start date of school, you've got to adjust your school calendar. Either we're going to go later in June and nobody wants to go to school in the middle of June, or you're going to have to take away Christmas break, spring break, or you're going to have to adjust your testing calendar. I'm an old fogey now. I'm AARP and all that jazz, so I can reminisce about the days when it was automatic. You started school after Labor Day. That was just the way it was. But having been a coach now for 26 years, we start practice August 15th. Last year was August 13th. It's hard to believe that in the middle of August, summer's over for kids. Being an outsider, it's a little bit of a head scratcher. We go to school for 2 or 3 days that first week of school, then we give them a 3-day break. Then we go again for 2 or 3 days, and we give them another 2 or 3 day break, and I'm thinking, what's this going on? You know, we're 3 weeks into the school year, and kids haven't gone to school for a full week yet. I don't get that. I agree with Wendy very much that I have a real problem with how early the school day starts. We're putting 5 and 6-year-olds catching a bus in the dark, and to me, that's dangerous. And also, as a high school coach, I tell you, kids need a lot of sleep.
Thank you.
I'm also not in favor of the enfranchised idea of starting after Labor Day. I go back and my previous comment, and also agree with that is a local decision. And we start setting the precedent to be where we have state government telling us that we're going to this is when you're going to start your schools, this is when you're going to start your calendar. I'm not sure there's any purpose in a local school board. Okay, that's Worcester County, it works for them. Okay, I'm not saying it doesn't work for Kent County, but maybe it's something that needs to be explored. I recently did a little poll of my own. I got 65 people that I polled, and majority of them wanted a post-Labor Day start. However, when I asked the question, do you want the state controlling the calendar, or do you want the locals controlling the calendar? And it was overwhelming. They want the locals controlling the calendar, but they kind of like that post-Labor Day start. Okay, so it's my job to listen. That's what you elected me for 4 years ago, is to listen. So that's what I've done. I did a little poll. I want to tap in on something about the testing, though. I mean, we constantly talk about testing, and it seems like we've done on the live and breathe testing. And I tell you, quite frankly, I mean, when we get the results from testing, most of the time, majority of the public doesn't understand what the results mean. So, and so therefore there's a perception, oh, your school's doing great, or oh, it's doing horrible. Well, you can sit there and take the data from testing, and you can make it look however you want it to look. You can take horrible data and make it look wonderful. So, testing, there's a lot of testing going on, believe me. And, right now we're a little bit in limbo because we're starting with the park. So we'll see how that goes, because we're going to struggle with state data for a couple of years.
Thank you, Jeff.
I am opposed to the state mandate from the comptroller. It makes sense for economic benefits, and as we've heard, Worcester County did that, and we're Ocean City's down there, so that kind of fits the boat for them. But again, the county Board of Education does control the school calendar. What I would like to see is this discussion of a post-Labor Day start take place. Maybe start with a committee of parents and the community representatives, kind of sit down at the drawing table, just to kind of get like a little task force going to hear if this could be something that could be done later in the future, and then branch from that and go into maybe having a post-Labor Day start. Also, I'm a proponent of even a post-Labor Day start. I am a proponent of a four-day school week for students, giving that Friday or that Monday for our teacher development, getting our teachers prepared as we are, again, going into that Common Core standards. I would like to see a little more professional development from outside and inside our school system to benefit our teachers, and even sometimes offering some of that professional development to our parents. But I oppose the mandate from the state. Thank you.